So what we're doing now is our full league relocation series here in Madden. I'm gonna load it up real quick and show you guys. We basically, fuck, I don't remember what I called it. I think it's this one, the Blues. Okay, so basically, yeah, it's called Relo. So basically what we did was we took every single team, we ran a fantasy draft, and we relocated every single city's jerseys. So let me go here to league. Standings. So there's like the Antlers, the Armadillos, the Aviators. Where can I go to see the city as well? Maybe schedule? It says first and last name. That's pussy shit, bro. Okay, so here we go. There's the Memphis Blues versus the OKC Condors, the Portland Lumberjacks versus Memphis, Tokyo Dragons. Okay, so I'm just going to name the teams we're against. There's the Oklahoma City Condors, Memphis Blues, Tokyo Dragons, Honolulu Wizards, Paris Aviators, Orlando Orbits, and it goes on and on. But basically, I'll go over to the rosters and show you guys what players ended up on what teams. And in the comments below, I'd like you guys to tell me what your favorite team is. So this first episode's probably going to be like half an hour long, and we're just going to look at like what players landed on what teams and shit. And I'll give you the outline of what the league is going to look like. I'm going to probably per a week stream per an episode. I'll do 4 matches for every week. And then you guys in the comments can tell me what teams you'd prefer to see. Because what we're going to do is go into, we're going to simulate and we're going to watch the games in broadcast mode. And I'm going to be the announcer, so you guys can watch the games with me. Once we get into the playoffs, we'll be simming every single team versus each other for each outcome. And I think probably once we hit around like week 6, I'll be picking the teams that have like the best records and what looks like the best matchups for the week, like the 4 best matchups. So it'll be batches of 4 episodes per a week. And then what we'll do is at the end of the week, after we've done the 4 episodes, I'll run another like half hour or 20-minute episode, which will be us looking at the stats, like what the league leaders and players are. Because what a lot of these channels do is they show the highlights, or they do like a CFM, and all they do is they show their point of view. I want to run a league where we literally like get into the teams, we look at what the players are doing, we look at like we can create our own fucking narratives of what's happening in the league. And I'd like you guys to interact with me as well. And if you guys have any advice for how to run the franchise or any things that I should add, I'm definitely down. But I want it to be kind of like a news, like a sports broadcast, an ESPN broadcast, where when we're not watching one of the games, we're talking about what's happening in the league. And I'm going to run this for multiple seasons, all the way to the Super Bowl and then into the next year. So for starters, let's look at the rosters. So this team, the Blues, I drafted myself. We had like, I think at the 9th pick. So with my first pick, I grabbed Fred Warner. We also got Derwin, Kyle Hamilton, so our safeties are going to be crazy. We got Dre Greenlaw, Bobby Wags. So I'll go through the positions for the team that we drafted. We ended up getting AR5. It's AR15, right? Or AR14? I think it's AR15. So I need to change his jersey number. But anyways, well, let's do that now. Their 15 better be available, bro. I'm going to be pissed. If I got to go, like, take it off of another character, we might just do that later. Okay. Thank God. So we got AR-15 as our QB with Dorian Thomas-Robbins. If he gets injured, we're kind of in trouble. We might need to pick up a backup. We also have AJ Dillon as our. He's going to be our power back that we run on third down and as a power back. But Keaton Mitchell is going to be our main running back in the depth chart. He's actually going to be ahead of AJ Dillon because his ceiling is like crazy. And the fact that the Ravens have him behind Derrick Henry is wild. It's so wild that they were able to give away J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards to the Chargers in real life. So anyways, we got Gilliam as our fullback. We got Zay Flowers. We're keeping some of the Ravens homies on the same team. So we got Zay Flowers, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Mickens. I don't even know who that is. I've heard the name, but then we got Danny Gray, Darius Davis, and Ronnie Bell. So a little bit top heavy for our wide receivers, but they'll do good. They're pretty fast. I'm probably going to have Mickens like fifth string and put these two above him. Next up, we have Dawson Knox as our lead tight end. And then Degara, he's like not a bad blocker. So we grabbed him. We might need to get a backup at tight end as well. Trevor Pennings, our left tackle. Evan Neals, our left guard. We have Brady Christensen and Juice Scruggs. I'm probably going to be starting Juice Scruggs over Brady. Then we also have Steen and Anthony Bradford. We have Kenyon Green and Daniel Filele. I think I said that right. Will McDonald looks like he's injured, which is bad news. How long is he injured for? 6 weeks. That's painful. So we're going to have Melvin Ingram as a good backup. We got a nice veteran on the team. Then we got Nolan Smith, the youngster, the speedy youngster, and Foskey from the Colts, I believe. This is the craziest part is our D-line, I think. I ended up grabbing Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, both from the Eagles. Insane talent. These guys are both going to be crazy. Like right now, Jalen Carter's produced more, but Jordan Davis is like prototype. Like, bro, if every team had a Jordan Davis, that'd be crazy. And then behind them, we got Tyler Davidson. Our linebackers aren't bad. We have Wagner, Fred Warner, Azeez Al-Shir, both from the 49ers, and Nakobe Dean, and we got Nakobe Dean, the rookie. Blues have Dre Greenlaw. We have Dre Greenlaw as our right offensive linebacker, and Damone Clark, so it's going to be pretty crazy. I think, I'm not sure if I said his name right. I'll say D. Clark. Our cornerbacks are pretty wild. I chose some good young players. We got Joey Porter, Christian Bedford, Keely Ringo, Jacorian Bennett, who's got some speed, and then kind of like mid after our first four. And then our safeties, I told you, they're pretty fucking wild. We got Derwin James and Kyle Hamilton. Our kicker is the GOAT, Young Wei Koo. And then we have Ryan Stonehouse as our punter. So I drafted a pretty solid team, in my opinion. We're just going to quickly go through the league, and I'll show you what teams have what players. We're not going to take too long like we did with the team that I drafted. I'm going to be rooting on this team, and you guys can with me. But if you guys like another team in the league that you think will give us competition, feel free. My heart is going to be like kind of rooting more for the Blues, just because I chose this team because they have cool jerseys. But feel free to vote on any other team. In my next relocation series, I'm not going to draft. It's going to be full auto draft if you guys want that for like no bias involved. But for now, I'm basically the commissioner of this team, the commissioner and the owner of this team. I won't do any unfair shit where I'm like making any like cheese trades or anything, but this is a stacked team already, so we'll see how we do. We have young players, so we might get beat for other teams that are loaded with superstar X factors. Anyways, moving on. We'll start at the alphabetically. We have the Antlers have Max Crosby, Darius Davis, Demario Davis, and Derek Brown, and so the pretty good team so far. Cooper, Walker, but who's their QB? That kind of matters. Kenny Pickett, the small hands boy. So we got the Kinneys, Killer Kinneys. If we have a Kinney at wide receiver, I'm gonna laugh. Okay, anyways, the Kinneys and the Coopers. Their team doesn't look too bad. I personally don't think they're doing much with Kenny Pickett, but maybe he'll surprise me. Next up, we have the Armadillos, starting with Nick Bosa and dude, Minka and Nick from the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is if you're a Steelers fan, this is probably your team. Well, actually, Bosa's. I'm tripping, bro. Bosa's from the 49ers, but he's like just as crazy as what's his name? No, from the Steelers. Fuck. The white boy linebacker, defensive end. His brother, J.J. Watt. T.J. Watt. Okay, so anyways, I'm tripping. So T.J. Watt, I was mistaking him for Nick Bosa because they're both crazy white boys. But they got Fitzpatrick and Bosa, so if you're a 49ers fan or a fucking Steelers fan, you might like this team. They also have Hitman Harry, Daniil Hunter, who used to be a Viking. So 2 Vikings here. And then, let's see their offense. Fields, Cook, and Tank Dell, and Elijah Moore. So not bad. I actually think this team's pretty balanced. Next we're moving on to the Aviators. I think it's the Paris Aviators. They got Chase, and Tyron Smith. L'Jarius Sneed, some good O-line players. Joey Bosa, there's another Bosa there. And then Geno. So let me see. They got Geno and Drew Lock from Seattle. That's funny. And then they have Jonathan Taylor and Smith-Schuster with Chase. Next up, we have the Bisons. They have Tua with Joshua Dobbs, the rocket scientist. Pacheco with Dobbins. And then their cornerbacks are kind of mid. I actually like Kadarius Toney, even though he had issues with drops. I think he's a good player. Okay, next up, Black Knights. Mark Andrews, quarterback's best friend. DJ Moore. So far, they're looking pretty crazy. Who's their quarterback? Howell. Ooh. Okay, they're not going to do much. They might overachieve. Then we got my team that we already looked at. The Blues. Pat Mahomes is on the Bulls. I think it's... Shit, I can't remember what team this was. It's like the Omaha Bulls or something. I can't remember. Mason Rudolph, Pat Mahomes. Then they have Javonte Williams and Mike Evans. So Mike Evans with Pat Mahomes is going to be pretty crazy. Their tight end is Conklin, and then we'll look at the rosters and then just like what their best players are. They look okay on defense, nothing too crazy. But they have Mahomes, so anybody with Mahomes is a threat. Aaron Rodgers is going to be with A.J. Brown. That's pretty wild. And then also with Thielen. So Rodgers, Elijah Mitchell, and some pretty good wide receivers. Not bad. Condors. They got Herbert. I'm rooting for the Condors already because Herbert's my favorite player in the league. I'm a Chargers fan. So Josh Allen together with Josh Allen is a linebacker together with Justin Herbert. And then we have Fuller, Pollard. Let me see who Herbert's throwing to. His running back is Pollard with Antonio Gibson behind him. And then he's throwing to Addison, Jaden Reed from the Packers, Shakir, I think he's on the Bills still, Chris Moore, Quez Watkins. I think Quez will leapfrog Chris Moore in the depth chart eventually. But he's got some speedy wide receivers. And then his tight end is Dalton Schultz, who's a good, reliable veteran. Okay, so that's a pretty sick team. I'm going to low-key kind of be rooting for the Condors, but obviously more for my team. I wanted to get Herbert, but I decided to grab Fred Warner to be the centerpiece of our defense. He's like our quarterback on defense. Desperados ended up getting Burrow with Chris Jones. Already looking crazy. And Trevon Diggs. Behind that, it looks like there's some other good players. Let's check out the rest of his offense. Tyjae Spears from the Titans. And kind of bad wide receivers. I think Christian Watson has a good potential in the future. Richie James isn't bad. But Deontay Johnson He's fast, and I like him as a player, but he's had issues with drops, if I remember correctly. So we'll see how he does. And then he's throwing to Gesicki and Mo Ali Cox. Moving on to the Dragons, we have Chubb, Surtain, Zach Martin, Waddle. So some pretty crazy players already. And their quarterback is Kyler. Kyler with Nick Chubb and Waddle, Dotson, Wandell. Pretty crazy offense. Check out their tight end, Jelani Woods. Good, young, huge player. Dragons might be trouble, guys. Dragons might be trouble. We got Justin Jefferson with Saquon Barkley and DeAndre Hopkins and some other good players. CJ Stroud. Whew. This is going to be a hard team to play against. They got Saquon, CJ Stroud, Justin Jefferson, DeAndre Hopkins. This is a pretty crazy offense. And let's just look over real quick because I'm curious what their defense looks like. Like their corners. Their corners actually aren't bad either. This team might be going somewhere, guys. They look pretty crazy. Okay, Elks. They have Trent Williams, Justin Hurts, McLaurin, Josh Jacobs, Pickens. Ooh, this team's pretty crazy too. So the Elks might be a problem as well. Tyreek, always an issue in the game. Trevor Lawrence, Sunshine, with Brian Robinson and Alvin Kamara. And then the wide receivers are not that great, but, Tyreek is great. So, we'll see. And when I say not that great, I'm fans of, even players that haven't done good in the league. I'm just saying, from a standpoint of what players are available, they're not high-tier superstars. So if, I'm not hating on any players. Even lesser known, I see people on social media talk shit about, players, and I'm like, bro, they're in the NFL. They're extremely talented. It's just, not everybody could be the best. So if you guys are watching this and you guys have, a favorite player and I shit on them, feel free to comment and, we can talk about it. Because I respect anybody who suits up and, straps up to get in a game. We got Lamar on the Huskies with Derrick Henry. Oh my God, this is Ravens 2.0. Charbonnet and James Robinson, some bruisers behind him. And then we got Keenan with, oh my God, Lamar with Keenan and Derrick Henry. Some okay backups. I mean, second and third stringers. Young Dalton Kincaid. And let's check out the rest of this team just because, this is a stacked-ass team already. Jadeveon, Nwosu. Some legit cornerbacks, nothing too crazy. Xavier Woods and Kirby Joseph. Not bad. Next up, we have the Portland Lumberjacks. They have Micah Parsons, Jesse Bates, who's crazy, bro. When he was on the Bengals, wherever the ball ended up, he was always there for a pick or the tackle. He's got some crazy senses. He reminds me, I'm not going to say he's Ed Reed, but his ball tracking and the fact that wherever the football ends up being on the field, he's one of those safeties who always has his nose in the mix. And that's a skill that Ed Reed had. A lot of cornerbacks are they're crazy fast, or they're tall, or they hit hard. They're mentally not the best at being a good playmaker on the ball. Jesse Bates is, when I watched the Bengals defense, he was always the one making the tackle, or he was always in the mix. It's crazy that he's that crazy. So anyways, we have Jesse Bates, Quinnen Williams, Jordan Love. So let's see the offense. Jordan Love with Najee and Zamir. Sutton, Palmer, some okay wide receivers, nothing too crazy. Disley's injured, and then Dulcich. How do you say that? Dulcich? Whatever, I don't know how to say that. Fuck you. Okay, next up we have Devonta And Hawkinson on offense. Desmond, I feel bad for them. They got some mid quarterbacks. I actually like Bridgewater, but he's like he hasn't done much lately. And maybe because he hasn't been given the opportunity, but I personally was a huge Teddy Bridgewater fan out of Louisiana. I mean Louisville. Louisville. Him and Lamar like put Louisville on the map for a while. So we got Rashad White, Miles Sanders, and okay wide receiver core. I'll stop going on long rants about shit. We'll just focus on the teams. We got Derek Carr, Tyrod Taylor, Connor, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Olave, and some other good players. So Daniel Jones is on the Nighthawks. And he's throwing to Devontae Adams. He's got Darius Big Play Slay and some good defense. Let's see his running back. A-Chain. And yeah, dude, wait, what the fuck? These two are together on the Raiders. That's wild. And they got Quentin Johnson. I think he's going to have a good year for the Chargers this year, I think. But then again, I said that last year and he didn't do shit. We got the body massage. We got Deshaun Watson with Zach Wilson. We got I'll Fuck Your Mom and Mr. Body Massage together. So together, they'll massage your mom. They'll get massaged by your mom, and then they'll fuck your mom. Next up, we have Jahmyr Gibbs with Ezekiel Elliott. Amari Cooper. And Michael Mayer. On the orbits, we have Kittle and some other nice players. So let's see the offense. Stafford with Breece Hall. Puka as a wide receiver 1. Interesting. Nico Collins, who balled out for the Texans. And then some other guys. Then on the Pioneers, we have Roquan Smith with Talanoa Hufanga from the 49ers with Dak. So let's check out this team. Nice. Mostert. He's fast as fuck. So this team's not bad. They might actually be a problem later. So now it's the Redwoods. They got Kelsey. So it looks like they loaded up on defense early mostly. Their quarterback is Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. Aaron Jones. Calvin, Mr. Bet on Yourself. The River Hogs have Christian McCaffrey hogging it up with Let's Ride, Russell Wilson. So McCaffrey with Russ and CeeDee Lamb. Whew. And Jameson Williams. Dude, this team's pretty crazy on offense. Okay, moving on. We have Terrell as a... Dang, they made AJ Terrell at 89. I didn't realize he was that high. So they got Bryce, Montgomery, Rashid Rice, Rashid Shaheed. They got some speed at wide receiver. I'll tell you that. I don't know what else I could say about the team. Josh Allen's on the Shamrocks with Mixon, Debo, Kenny Clark, Chase Young, and his running back, his wide receivers are, we already knew Mixon, Josh Downs, and some other fools. Let's see who the Snowhawks have. They got Penei Sewell, Brock Purdy, Mike Willie, some other good players. Steamers have Tre'Davious White, DK and T. Higgins, interesting. Peppers and Kyron Williams. Damn, Kyron Williams is 85 overall. That's crazy. We got Gardner and PJ Walker. Interesting quarterbacks. Kyron Williams with Joshua Kelly. And a pretty crazy wide receiver combo. we're getting towards the end. Sorry for the lag, guys. So at the end of this, I'm gonna say peace out to you guys, and then we're gonna simulate the preseasons. And our next episode will be starting week 1. We're gonna watch 4 games for week 1, and those will go over. Let me know if you guys want long episodes where I do all 4 highlights in one video, or if you prefer the videos to be like 1 or 2 of the games at a time. I'm probably gonna do like 4 or 5 minute quarters, and we'll be watching it in what's it called? We'll be broadcasting the game. Simulate broadcasting. So anyways, we got Goff with Austin and Garrett Wilson, Judy Bourne. Kind of a mid-team in my opinion. Baker. Damn, they got Jalen. Jalen, Ayuk, Buda Baker. So we got Baker Mayfield and Buda Baker. So it's Buda Baker Mayfield. Hendon Hooker behind Mayfield. Bro, Hendon Hooker might even take his spot if he gets injured, because Hendon's underrated. He's not a bad QB. We got Singletary, Ayuk, Beckham, and Higbee. Maybe their offense can carry them with Jalen, because their defense, because their offense isn't that great. Myles Garrett with Denzel Ward. The Browns players ended up together. If you're a Browns fan, this might be your team. They also got Tyler Lockett, Vita Vea. QB is Kirk Cousins with Jacoby Brissett. Jalen Warren with Cam Akers, some bruisers. McCole Hardman. And the tight end is Darren Waller. Last team, let's look at this. We got Will Levis with Malik Will. These two are both from the Titans. That's hilarious. Travis Etienne. And then we have, damn, their wide receivers are crazy. Stephon with JSN. And then Sky Moore is pretty speedy. Damn, they lowered Sky Moore's speed to 89. I know at the beginning of the season he was faster. They did his ass dirty. And Trey McBride. So let me know what you guys think your favorite team is in the comment section. And we'll be watching the highlights for the next for the week 1 in our next episode. Thanks for hanging with us, guys. This is our full entire league relocation series. Let me know if you guys have any ideas for what you want to call the league. But yeah, so we're going to dip out now. But I appreciate you guys vibing with us. Like, subscribe, and make sure you guys comment who you think is dope.